So welcome everybody, and welcome to our evening talk 9:30 at our facebook.com at martintf, and we really hope you can leave a good feedback at this website that we have. Let me just bring up my pen here. All right, this one in here, because it's sort of going to give us, if you can, just leave us a good comment and a review back at this website here at Facebook at Martin TF Wong of the things that we do, even though you may be first time. You really appreciate any comment. And tonight it's about market crisis condition. Should I have a conservative or aggressive approach when there is a next likely market rally? Now, how many of you believe that we're going to have a rally now from where we are to at least end of the year? Just type 2, right? Or just type rally if you believe you're going to have a rally, or just kind of give me a thumbs up you think you're going to have a rally, because my job is to change your perspective, change how you look at the market. Especially if you're a new beginner, that's even better, because these information, these facts, these ideas will help you to understand the world better, and also the financial that's going to be ahead of you. I think all of us are quite different in the way we approach it, and hopefully a little bit of my experience, a little bit of my knowledge can rub off into you so you can benefit. Especially we all know right now we have this, what we call the COVID crisis, the market crash, and we are going through over it together. We will go through this together. So we're going to be doing this, a lot of this market crisis conditioner. So do share this also in your timeline that more people will find out. All right, let's move on. Now, really what we want to see, very important, is be also, especially those of you who just type 1 and you are, be part of our 3,000 Telegram grower. And those of you who are joining, I hope that you have learned something from our tips and important update information. If not, just feedback to us. That's a number right below there that you can see, 010-26697, and how we can help you. Really help you to prepare you to be the investor that you ever been. We all know, right, during this great MCO, we all have to learn a new skill, isn't it? Correct? Now, I even learned how to bake a cake. My daughter taught me how to do that. On top of other things, I learned how to cook. I think we all have to do a little bit things that outside of our comfort zone, right? Do you agree that? All right. I think during this MCO, I have learned a lot about what we can do if we just focus, right? And we focus, we have some guidance, and hopefully myself, Martin here with TradeVSA, able to guide you if you're first time listening. So just do join us, this 3,000 Telegram founder. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our TradeVSA channel. And it's good that a lot of the video that we've done, we edit it, we post it back into the YouTube, so where you can really enjoy this too and find ways how to improve yourself. All right, I think that's really great too. Okay. Now let's go on to our program. As I said before, we are at the this is only the 13th of May, and we will be doing our live FB every night. Every morning, the morning session will be reserved for the FCPO live trading 10:15. Today, my colleague Arif, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, he'll be doing this because this Friday I'll be away for a business meeting for a whole day. So he'll be helping me out. And then at night, we have my senior trainer Zach is going to come in at 9:30 to do stock analysis. Only on Wednesday night. This Wednesday night, I'll talk a bit more about the macroeconomics, things that is give you a bit of where we are heading up, right? So that you get able to trade from home or invest from home. I think that's very important. We saw a big growth in online trading during this MCO that we all have to learn this. I think this too. All right, let's move on. Okay, so 5 known fact first. Okay, 5 known fact, and let me just do a little bit of sharing on my group here. I think that's important too. Okay, 5 known facts. What are the 5 known facts, ladies and gentlemen, that you all know that? All right. What are the 5 known facts? First one, number 1, I think Donald Trump, again, with his ranting and tweeting that he has on these many of the website. I think you all seen that one, right? That he said, look, the Chinese virus, the Chinese trade war, everything is really starting. Why? We all know. I think you can read all the press about it, and he is losing his popularity. That's right, he's losing his popularity, and he's worried he will not get reelected for the second term. And because his opponent, we all know who is his opponent, right? Joe Biden. And Joe Biden is apparently getting almost 9 to 10 points ahead of him, and he's worried. So, and we all know Donald Trump, being for what it is, he only know how to blame people. He is always right. Now, to me, is very dangerous, especially in this market, right? Being an investor, we don't want to get that. Now, we all know where Donald Trump is going to lead to. For what he is going to get someone to blame. So that's what we're going to know it. But very important is, he has done some work, which I think was quite impressive before leading to the post what we call the corona. The market did rally, and after now is trying to get it back again. Okay, now the second known fact is also we've seen a huge drop. Okay, let me just see this. We see the what was this one here? Okay, let me get back. So we see a huge drop, right? A huge drop in what we call the semiconductor sales. Now this is all in the past, but if you note that every time when we see this drop here, right, the market will recover, and we are seeing this again. It drops, recover, it drops, starting to recover, isn't it? And this is one of the posting that I put in also in Facebook that correlates to Intel stocks, because semiconductors, right? We know Nvidia, we know TSMC, some of those, Broadcom, the 5G. Okay, we also have the 5G coming in. No doubt, right now we are the era of what we call post-MCO. So during the post-MCO, the demands will be stifled a bit. Okay, they'll be stifled a bit, means people are not getting, but the trend is eventually the tech stocks, the technology stock is going to rally, and we've seen that already. Right, so some of you who have actually WhatsApp me saying, hey, is this a good time to buy Apple? I will share with you later by looking at the system that we have. Okay, so this is something also good. If you have these things, and if you really want to ask me, do go ahead and let me know. Okay, so those are the things that we look at. Now let's look at the third known fact. Now the third known fact is we did have a interest rate cut, isn't it, this week, right? But analysts are further looking for another cut, possibly towards what? End of the year. Okay, end of the year, which is 2020. Now, how many of you think there's going to be an interest rate cut? If you think there's going to be another interest rate cut, please type 3, because right now we are at 2.0 fixed deposit rate. Let's use fixed deposit rate. Year end, we're going to hit 1. How many of you think that we're going to hit interest rate cut? Just type 3 for me here. All right, so then I would know that many of you believe. So what does it mean? It means that the returns, right, from fixed income, okay, which is like your fixed deposit, is going to go down. All right, so that means a lot more people will be parlaying their returns into the stock market. All right, that's right, they're going to be putting more into the stock market. You see that one's going to move out. But having said that, right, in Malaysia, okay, that's why we always try to have a wider perspective. We just don't want to look at just Malaysia. We want to have a wider perspective. Now, if you look in Malaysia, right, the foreign fund remains to be a net seller. All right, the outcome, it's still very, very flowing out. So we have almost 774 million outflows. Now, if you take in terms of the peer, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, right? Malaysia still remain the third smallest foreign fund outflow, which, after Indonesia and Philippines, this is not really important, but what does this mean? That foreign funds, looking at our current market sentiments, they may not be really, really interested in our market. Now, foreign funds, but I'm going to share with you, and this is one of our premium package. If you have subscribed to TradeVSA, you had seen this one in here, right? And this is where we see a real trend. Now, let me just draw this in here. Now, this is the KLCI index, okay, the blue line. Right now, it is hovering here. We are around 1,400, okay, 1,400. But you notice where we have the fourth time foreign fund buying. Okay, so what it simply says that if we get more foreign funds coming buying, okay, here, right, then we're going to see this market breaking up, right? So today the market closed 1%. So tomorrow we'll know whether foreign funds has coming or not. So catch me again next Wednesday. I'm going to review it. Of course, if you want to know more about our charts and all, foreign funds flow, you can always look at the number below and contact our WhatsApp over there. So this is how we actually look at the market and how we have a gauge whether the market's going to go higher or not. Okay. Now, the fifth major fact is, I think majority of the bad news are behind us. So this is where I talk about accumulating early. Now this came out on the Star Business News, talk about the Malaysian Industrial Production Index. Where did it go? Down. That's right. It's only 6.2 and everything is down. Electricity is down. Okay, in February 2020 was 6.8, but it's down 7%. Okay, manufacturing is down, so everything is down. Of course, we all know that, right? It experienced one of the deepest decline in 9 years. But I want to share with you something, right? In bad news, who buys? Bad news, who buys? The public won't buy a bad news. All right, the smart money would buy. So that's why one of the themes that we always talk about in here about the smart money, right? You got to know who's the smart money inside there. And hopefully by following us and going through some of the videos, those of you interested in our YouTube at TradeVSA and also our Facebook, you understand more the methodology that we approach the market, right? We always take a contrary view. We are like Warren Buffett in the way. When there are bad news, when there are blood in the market, what do? You tell me. When there are blood in the market, we start to think to buy. And that's why you can see our TradeVSA chart with the Pentagon, patent Pentagon, right around the 12th of April, our first Pentagon came out then. Okay, this was the first Pentagon, okay, came in on 12th April. That is almost 1 month ago. All right, so this is a patent that belongs to the company. Okay, patent from TradeVSA. All right, so this is something that I find some of you who may not have a system like that to use the Pentagon Trader. If you don't, you can always get it from our smartrobie. More about that later. All right, so let's look at the next thing. Okay, now also the first quarter we all know is really bad, right? And we all know it because of the coronavirus. So this is again from the news, our GDP has declined 1.5%. So all this bad news, you'll probably be saying, hey Martin, all this bad news, so how is it going to comfort me whether I'm going to be a conservative or aggressive right in here? But very important, we have to see those facts which is presented to you. Are they the future or are they the past? Okay, you tell me. If you think they are the future, type future there. Okay, if you think they are the past, type past. Okay, so to me this is very important because if you look back in past, now this is the what we call from Trader Economics, the GDP growth for Malaysia. Okay, over the last how many years is that? Right, that's more than 12 years, isn't it? So every time when we have a steep like what we have, remember just now we have this message here. We have the steepest, okay, fall in IPI, Industrial Production Index, for almost 9 years. Okay, that was the fact just now, 9 years. And the last time we have this fall was way back in 2000. This is 2008. This was 2009. And guess what? The market snapped back up. And we are here. Okay? Will the market snap back up? What do you think? Right? Will the market snap back up? What do you think? All right? It will, of course. That is why when we look at the news, we really have to understand the context. Don't say that the news is here, it's going to stay. What we are seeing right now are the past. And to make money, can we make money from looking at the past? Can we make money from looking at the past? No. We make money by looking at the future. Right? We make money by looking at the future. I'm not trying to paint you that a very bright future. What I'm saying that the market will recover. And when the market recover like what we see here, this market's going to turn back up. No doubt the news that you see, better quarter, that is very, very frightening. So that's why when you read newspapers, right? And one of the things that we do in TradeVSA for our Wednesday session is to really put it up to you and try to make you see and understand better what is actually going on with the whole team and the whole world. Now, if you like what you have seen so far, the first 10 minutes, give me a thumbs up while I have a cup of water. Okay? Now let's move on to the next thing that I always talk about, right? Is our very favorite TradeVSA. Now this TradeVSA charts, you can get it from smartrobie for free totally, and it's limited. Now we're gonna look at the market today, okay? Now TradeVSA, we have our own Pentagon guider, which is patent pending, okay? And it's today we are up 1.25%, which is we are really here 1400. All right. Now, if you look back in the past, there was a red pentagon in here. That was a red pentagon sell, and it got it correct. And this time also got it correct. So imagine if you have followed this, you would have avoided this and ready to come in, right? All right. So that's one way to look at the market. Okay. So right now you have to be bullish. Okay. You have to be bullish, and if the market were to break above the 1400 here, then we are in a good mood to go up. And to me, the chances are very, very good. Now, one of the reasons why we are seeing this is because we are seeing Donald Trump with his big rally, and that's going to, but the finding factors in Malaysia is that everything will be down. All the news are so bad, right? And the market couldn't go lower anymore, and that's the time to buy. So coming in, news that is coming right now will continue to be good. Okay, so a lot of bad news. As the bad news are coming up, the market's not falling more, it's ready to go up, and that's what you want to look for. So the skill that you really want to have right now is to look at the news. If the news are bad, market's not falling. And remember, that news that we have, the IPI, the 4% big drop that you see on the star, right, did not contribute our 1% up move, right? It actually, bad news, market go up. Think about that, all right? So, very important. Now let's look back at some news that we have so far just to sort of paint the picture that we have. The Senate has approved $2 trillion stimulus, define the corona. We all heard about this, right? Even if you've been following me for the last couple of weeks, all the session I've been talking about here. So what happened is that they are really throwing money, helicopter money, every Americans, because we are seeing almost 32 million every week. We are seeing almost 3 million unemployment being filed in US, 36 million in there. And when you hit 36 million, you're talking almost 10% of US population. US is about 320 million, and they are projecting maybe 20%. So 20%, you're looking at 64 million there. But why isn't the market going lower? Now, one of the reasons why we will say that Trump already said the market must reopen to get the economy going. And there's a lot of controversy going on. I think you all know about it and you all heard about it. Hey, people are dying. And if you follow the news, when we have the CNN and Fox, they are not in good friends. Fox is a friend of Donald Trump, which always support him, and CNN is the one that go on bashing Donald Trump. So Fox said, look, no doubt we really have to reopen the market, get people moving, and that's why the market did not fall, because we are going to see more sectors going to die, and the people going to die. It's quite true, but a lot of those rally that we see in US Dow Jones are actually caused by pharmaceutical and also technology stocks. Okay, so those are the stocks that you want to be buying if you're on the momentum trading in here. And very important, I highlighted last week, I did talk about it just to keep this point into play. And Donald Trump is like a Mr. Fix-It. Okay, he has an election campaign this coming November 2020, and he need to get re-elected. So you can see this little curve that he forced, he had to push it down. And we all know he has only how many months? Now it's almost May, it's already June. All right, and that's what he's going out. You will notice the news. He's going out to do a lot of rally, while his Democrat opponent, Mr. Joe Biden, is doing a lot of campaigning from his basement. That's right, from his house basement, because of the fear of the coronavirus. He's 70 plus and he don't want to get hit by another coronavirus. So he's doing his lot of campaigning online. So you can see Donald Trump is taking his helicopter, his Air Force One, flying all over the US and trying to rally to him, so he gets to come. Now, let me ask you a question. Who do you think will win, Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Please type that in the comment. All right, so that's important too. All right, so next, let's look at the US Dow Jones in here for what it is, okay? And very important, you can see the market is not holding up. One of the good news really coming up, I think y'all can hear this, is also Disneyland is reopening the Shanghai team. You know that I've been talking about Disneyland, one of the stocks you look at, and we do foresee eventually the US one will reopen soon. Right now, of course, they want to see how the Shanghai are doing, so that's why there are many more restrictions. It's also today, I think in Selangor, where I am in Petaling Jaya, I went to a restaurant. We only 2 tables inside there. I went with my staff and my partner in there. We sat down and we have a proper meal. All right, we know the owner of the place, but they did open up. There were people sitting out there, but they are still maintaining its restriction. Now, how many of you went to a restaurant today? If you have, type restaurant. Okay, so I know you all went to a restaurant in here. So we all know that, like it or not, you and me, we still need to go out. Correct? We still need to spend money. I've been cooped up in the house for the last 2 months. I want to spend some money. I want to buy some nice food, have some nice cup of coffee, and just enjoy the experience like what Disneyland is doing. So if you look in that sense, right, eventually all the operators will open up. Even Selangor right now, who are quite reluctant, has opened up. And I think Penang, those of you listening from Penang, if you're from Penang, type PG in there and give me a thumbs up, right? I think you are reopening your restaurants, right, and your shops on Friday. So it is about reopening, and that's why if you notice, 37% over in here, the market, right, already fell, and we are coming out from in here, and that's why no one talks about the US new bull. Right, when they fall more than 20%, they say a bear market. But when you rally more than 20%, they don't call it a bull. Why? Think carefully. Why? Because the smart money hasn't accumulated a lot more. And luckily for you, you got a chance to listen to me talk. You look at TradeVSA, our signal in here, and you're able to get in much money. I think that's really one of the big benefits of coming here and looking for the market, what we did. So the US are reopening the Shanghai team, and then eventually we will see some. Of course, the numbers of new cases. Now, this is a picture of Bill Gates. So Bill Gates is probably, of course, Bill Gates' team is that he likes tech stocks, right? Now, one of the stocks we really talk about is also Microsoft FT. Look back in one of those presentation that I did 3 weeks ago. I did talk about Microsoft and the post-MCO world order in here. So the question is, should I be conservative or aggressive now? After all, this is what the theme is with the market rallying right in here. Now, before we do that, let me ask those people listening today and some of you who are listening, right? Do you have an investing system? If you have one, or if you don't have one, what are your thoughts? How do you buy your shares? With or without investing system in here? Now, you may not say that I really don't have a proper one. I have a bit here, maybe a partial here. I always check out my friend Facebook and see what he tells me to buy, or I follow this Sifu and the Sifu say what tell me to buy. So it can be a hybrid system I have, but I'm not really sure. Or some of you who have been following me also say that, what Martin say I buy lah, or what this Sifu say I buy lah. But don't forget, how about exit? All right, so this is a part where I think all of you really need to look back at yourself. This is where the mind is, and some question is what to buy, what to sell, how long to hold, and how much fall can I take, right? Because if you look in terms of a lot of great studies, literature, and what we call finance system, right? Money management is important, which is how much the system is important, whether it is a good system, but very important here is the psychology. All right. Now, what is psychology? Psychology is about what the investment do to you. Whether you are fearful, whether you are greedy, whether you are neutral. Right now, the market, remember in February time frame, the market was falling. A lot of people were panicking. I got clients calling me up, and I was smart enough, luckily for me, I started to send them a lot of comforting message. Look, the market will recover. And in a way, they were really very well off, I have to say, because I'm very prepared for this big sell-off. I didn't know that the sell-off is going to happen such extreme. I know there will be some sell-off, but I didn't know it sold more, and it rebounded quite significantly too, right? So the psychology part is the part that many of us cannot do without it. That's what, to me, if you look in terms of system, you can see whether you have a system or without a system, but your psychology, that's the one we want to focus on. All right. So, and this is a really good quote. A lot of people say, one thing about psychology, and from a famous the Forbes newspaper, he said that, look, we always know, investor always say we are in for the long term until where the market takes a hit, especially the last round. We have a few of my client and my customer clear everything out. And what worse was that they clear right at the bottom. And to me, it's very sad because the psychology, it's not there. All right. So this is why we talk about important that to really understand your psychology in here. So what are the common fundamental analysis? Okay, let's look at the common fundamental analysis many of you talk about is PE ratios, risk and reward, dividend yield. Now this is all got to do with the system also, right? A price comparison, whether you want to pay more expensive. If you visit my website, fb.com, smartrobie, then we talk about PE ratio, whether it's expensive or not. Then if you talk about trading, there's 2-to-1 risk reward, and also dividend yield. Especially we talk about the context, right? The context that we already have interest rate cut just 3 weeks ago to 2%, and there is another forecast coming on, 1 more percent coming on. So what does that mean? That means, right, you're not going to get more for that one. So here is that where we're going to start off. We're going to find out who you really are. So here we have a free investor profile. Do go over to TradeVSA.com/questionnaire, right? And I want you to fill up that questionnaire. It's only 7 pages long. Sorry, 7 questions long, not 7 pages long. 7 questions only. Please go in and fill that up. When you finish, all right, type your answers on the comment. Can you do that for me? All right, please type that. So this is where I talked about earlier on, where you're going to get yourself busy, right? So we've done this. My developers has developed a very simple TradeVSA investor profile questionnaire, and it's free online profiling. Just go over, fill up this 7 questions. Okay, will take you less than 3 minutes, and then please type your answers. All right, so you do that. All right. So type over. Now this is the part. All right, so fill up the questionnaire that you have, and this one's going to help you. So please do that and give me the answers. So please fill up the investor profile, investor questionnaire at this website, tradevsa.com/questionnaire. And I want you to get and submit the quiz, and you will get an answer. And please tell me the answers, because that one is going to, because once you get your answers, I will talk about those profile. All right, so I'm just going to write it here. So take 3 minutes to do that. All right, everybody. Okay, so I'll just write there it's available. TradeVSA.com/questionnaire. Okay, so please do that. Take 3 minutes to do. All right, and type your answers. Okay, can you all do that? I assume you already done the 7 questions on the investor profile. If you have not, it's okay. You can go ahead and do it. But later on, it was going to give you some sort of a profile we're going to talk about. Now, right now, where we are at the bull and bear market. We have seen this before, because this is the part where the psychology I talk about, where when you are overconfident, right? Where just like Donald Trump was so confident that he's going to win, that is the part where there's the greatest risk of loss. Right now, the bear market, we have what we call the COVID-19 crisis. And many people say this is even worse than the market depression back in the 1930s, where there is also a lot of hope. So right now, this is where we have the greatest opportunity of gain, where you are trying, where many investors, they sell at the bottom of the bear, but this is a point where we have the highest growth potential of time. So the question did come, are you aggressive? Am I going to be aggressive here? Right? Or am I going to be conservative or moderate? Okay? Or moderate. So that was that real question in here. Whether are we going to be aggressive, conservative, or moderate? So many of you who have come in, I hope you all fill up that survey of the aggressive or moderate, and you probably know where you stand, because right now we're going to talk about what you can do going forward, because I hope with the information that I will give you in the next couple of slides, it does give you some sort of planning going forward. I know sometimes when many of you are trading in and out, or just looking at certain stocks, whether it is blue chip, mid cap, you don't see the bigger picture, the open picture. And that's why here, Martin here and our team is helping you to try to refocus back where the market is, where the overall, depending on who you are, whether you are aggressive in here. Now, those of you who just joined us in here, I hope you have a chance to fill up the online profile, which I'll talk about it later in there. But let's move on, okay? Now, it's also important to understand now where you are, your age. Okay, now depending where you are, many of you listen, if you are the younger stage, you are single and you're starting up a family in here, being conservative has to fall along that line. And if you are about 70 plus or 60 plus here who are listening right now in here, there is a lot going not in your favor when you try to be aggressive, right? At the same thing, if you are single, right, and you haven't got a family yet, and you're trying to be conservative, you put your money in fixed deposit. So this is where we talk about the financial life cycle, because like it or not, I subscribe to this, okay? I'm around this area here, okay? I don't want to tell you my age, but it's almost there, where I have a young family. All right, I'm in the process also accumulating wealth, and also part of the things that we talk about it tonight is to teach you how to accumulate wealth. Understand this will put you in the right track as you move towards retirement. Because like it or not, some of you who are the younger one may not see retirement, wow, this is so far away. Or some of you already retired, you're 30 plus, you already retired, and some of you have been retired for the last 20 years because you made so much money, right? From your work or from everything, congratulations. But like it or not, being conservative, being aggressive or moderate got to do with how you plan your portfolio in here. So just keep this in mind, okay? Now let's go through the first one. Now remember, just now some of you who are just joined us, right? Whether you are conservative earlier on, right? And know yourself in here. I would think that if you are conservative, your age profile will fit this picture over there. Very conservative. And it all depends also on your education, your experience, and what are you going to use for your funds? Now, if you go back to the previous slide, what do you do around here? All right? Do you going to distribute them? Are you going to give it to your children? Are you going to, put it into a trust or charity? Or maybe some of you may say, what are you talking about, Martin? I don't even have enough to pay for my electric bill. Correct or not? So it all depends, but hopefully you have started. If you have not started somewhere around in here, you will struggle over this side. So hopefully you're not in that area, but I really want to hope to hear from you where you are, whether you're in stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Tell me more about it, right? I have a phone number inside there, down there, 010-266-9761. I really like to hear from you too, right? And that's one of the things that we try to make you understand what we do over here. Now, of course, being conservative, you can see we have 4 types of instruments, okay? We have the fixed income, the dividend shares, the REITs, and the blue chip. We are still pretty much following the conservative traditional way. Fixed income means you buy coupons, you can put on fixed deposit, getting a 4 to 6% kind of returns. Okay, then we have some dividend shares in here, and the proportion there, it's about how much of the money you should apportion it, and also going to REITs, okay, real property investment trust, which give you around 6 to 8% return, a little bit of blue chips. All right, now blue chips, you also have to be very careful too. Remember, we talk about with or without a system. So if you have a system, you know how to pick up those shares in important, and those that without, then probably end up listening to people and you lose money. Remember Genting, we talked about last month. Some people will argue, look, but even though if you were to buy Genting, I'll consider it still as a blue chip, but keep it as a small portion if you are a conservative investor. Do what I say this makes sense or not? If I say this makes sense, give me a thumbs up. All right, so let's go on to the next level, what we call moderate conservative. Now remember, some of you who have done those surveys, you type it in there. Great. Okay, so if you are moderate conservative, I think if you happen to go through, take a camera, take a picture of this one, and again go back and review back the portfolio that you have. All right, again, also depending on how much and what are you going to use for your funds. All right, the age. I will assume that if you're moderate conservative, you are still like this folks are. All right, a bit more on this side in here, closer retirement, and you notice the mix right now is slightly different. Okay, you'll focus more, little bit more, about 50%. You will have a lot of what we call the blue chip shares, and then you start to introduce some mid cap and small cap. Because a lot of time I do see when people trade, they just always trade the small cap. They never talk about the mid cap stocks or the blue chip stock. All right, so you gotta have a good mixture inside there, right? And then you have to have a strategy, a system, right? If you don't have one, use ours. That's what TradeVSA for, with our patent pending buy and sell. So that's sort of give you where you are, right? Then third, we're going to come back to the moderate, where the moderate sort of like the middle line, you know, and right, you can see now the age profile has changed to one with a family, right? Some of you may see yourself like this little very happy family, one boy, one girl, like me lah. My family also one boy, one girl, right? So I would consider myself to be a bit moderate investor. I'm not conservative, I'm also moderate, although I trade futures. Then you can see the whole portfolio start to change, right? In here, you're almost quite well balanced. You got some dividend shares, right? I'm not going to talk about what are those dividend shares. Perhaps you can find more information from our website. Listen to some of the talks that I have on YouTube and also here, and then you can find out how you can position yourself to much better have this. Okay, then we also have a bit of blue chip, all right, and then we have some mid cap and then some small cap stocks. Now remember, in smartrobie, I have already posted some of these shares over there. That's going to give you some sort of an idea what kind of shares you want to look at, especially when there's some I looked at it last week at KKB, engineering, which is undervalued. That will be classified as a small cap stocks, because on smartrobie in there is a section under fundamental where I say it is either a small cap or big cap. So that will pretty much tell you where you are. Okay. Of course, some people will ask me, how about AirAsia? Where do AirAsia fall in here? AirAsia, like it or not, you fall under as a, well, it used to be a large cap stock, right? It is still a blue chip. Well, I would say it is a troubled blue chip company, right? Just like many of those big company, Boeing, right, are what we call trouble blue chip company. Okay, the blue chip not always say that it will go up. It's in trouble only because of the crisis, because people has changed, the behavior has changed, demand and supply has changed, right? I mean, you look back before the pre-MCO, before the coronavirus, everybody want to travel. Right now, no people want to travel. Okay, so this is where the coronavirus has changed a lot of the thing you are. Then finally is what we call the moderate investor. Okay, now if you've done that survey, those of you who came in a bit earlier on, then you would have known whether you're aggressive. I do see many of you are aggressive. So when you're aggressive, then you can see your portfolio will change dramatically. You're going to have more small cap stocks. You're going to add on futures and warrant because you want to have a bit of leverage. And remember your age when you're aggressive. You're going to be looking like more like this great looking couple, you know, really outgoing type. The education experience is all important. And what you're going to use with your funds too, right? Then you're going to have a little bit of dividend shares, no doubt, right? Dividend shares is here. And then some mid caps. So again, take a photo of you, who you are, because I'm not really sure what was your answer. Some of you may be aggressive investor, some of you may be moderate investor, but that kind of give you outlook where you go, because this is important. If you get this information right into your head right now when you are young, and when you plan your financial life cycle, which I've showed you earlier, then you're much more better positioned in here right now. Then just that I do find a lot of people, get to a point where they don't have much money in there, because all this while they traded a lot of those small cap stock. They lost a lot of money in here. Do I say this makes sense? All right, if I say this way, give me a thumbs up. So this is where you really want to position, and you can sleep better too, right? And with me following me at our TradeVSA Facebook, then you're able to sort of look at the market and see what it is, and never be afraid, because me, my team, we are considered ourselves Sifu. We are here to help you. All right. And then finally, we could talk about the aggressive trader investor. Now you can see the composition really changed. Now you're going to have a lot more what we call the mid cap stocks. Okay, you're going to have a lot more small cap stocks. Now, if you don't know what I mean by mid cap stock or small cap, go over to smartrobie under fundamental. There is a classification down there. I'll tell you whether it's a small cap stock or mid cap stock. Because sometimes when I go through the daily newspaper, I find some really good stocks. I will type them. These are undervalued. So if you haven't seen that yet, in a couple of slides, I'll tell you where to get more information. Absolutely for free. Okay, these are for free. And then last one is still, you need to have some dividend shares. Okay. And that's where you can get a bit of you. Remember, the answers that you get from the profile that you submitted in the TradeVSA online investor profile will give you a little bit of what you should do. But in your portfolio wise, this is what we recommend you to do. Again, going back in there. So those are the 5 what we call category of most investors will fall in. Either they are conservative, moderate conservative, moderate in the way, right, between moderate and conservative and aggressive, moderate aggressive, and then finally be aggressive. But I think finally, Peter Boo asked, stock glove can go higher, still can go in higher. I think this is not the right session to go in or not. Again, going back to your portfolio, you see, when Peter asked that one, he's asking whether is it good or not. You have to think back in terms of your portfolio design, right? Because if you are thinking about these stocks, then you are an aggressor. Then look back at your age, right? Whether are you retiring or not. Okay, so this is quite important. When you have a portfolio where we talk about that fits you, then you end up winning more. And this is what we talk about, being a smarter investor and trader, and not just every stock that goes up, like Top Glove goes up, or Supermax goes up. I want to be aggressive, right? So you want to be a smarter investor, know when to be aggressive, when to be conservative. Do what I say this makes sense or not? If your analytics makes sense, give me a thumbs up. It's not about this stock I want to jump in and trade. It's about having an overall approach to the market, knowing who you are, fill up that time. So Peter, if you have not filled up that online questionnaire, please do that. All right, that questionnaire is in there, and then you tell me what kind of person you are, whether you're aggressor or you're conservative, because it's better to know who you are. And once you know who you are, then have a winnable system to determine when you want to be in or when you want to be out. And that's really coming in using TradeVSA, our system in there, right? We have the buy and sell, which is a patent one in there that gets you out and in. It's no longer a question. First, determine who you are, whether you want to be a moderate, you want to be a conservative, you want to be an aggressor. After you determine who you are, then you have the right portfolio set up. So if I'm aggressive, I want to trade futures and warrant, all right? Then I gotta have a system. Does the system tell me to be in and out? What are the other factors? The only factors that I come in is that, can it go higher or not? What does the chart tell you? If the chart tells you to go in, it hasn't been then follow the charts. Follow the trading plan. This is giving up. And this is one of the ways, we always talk about the 8 ways to develop the meta-cognitive skill. Now this is important. I find use a lot. Okay. First, we acknowledge that we don't know a lot of things. Right, we don't know a lot of things. There's a lot of information gap. That's why we read a lot. We have a book, right, to tell us, differentiate between right and wrong. We have a system that tells us when you want to be in, when to be out, and also a reference point. Who can I go to get more information? Second, set your goal. Okay, now this is important because a lot of time you'll find people have a question. We'll have a questions about, okay, how much money you want to make from a stock. So let's say you want to make 30% from a stock. Okay, that was your goal. But after 3% only, you jabot already, right? And you say you want to be aggressive, right? So go back to that. And if that's the case, then you set yourself a goal. You go back and you monitor. You monitor. This is what we talk about, developing the metacognitive skills inside here. And to be prepared. Okay? Be always prepared. Like we always say, have a trading plan. Okay? Now, why did you run away when you have the rubber stocks? Did you have a plan? Right? And one of the things to have a plan is you keep a diary. And these days we have our phone, right? You can always type in, why did I jabot? Why did I run away? It's because some sifu say run. Or because I got anxious, or because I didn't follow my plan. Okay, then seek out feedback. Where can you get people to help you? Do you have a community of people? And people who want to help you is people who challenge you. Challenge you is not like call you or critique you, but want to get you to improve. And that's what I mean to challenge your idea. The way you think, is it correct? I always like people to challenge the idea, not so much to fight with me challenge, but to really challenge, what happens if the market is wrong? If I am wrong, how much would I lose? But if I'm right, how much would I make? I think that is very important, to seek out the feedback and then finding your performance. So this 6 out of the 8 metacognitive skills is very important to develop the best solution. Right? After you know that you're conservative, you are aggressive, and then have a winnable system. Right? So this is why we talk about very important to have all this in place. And if you've been following me all this while in my TradeVSA in here, you will see that a lot of information we give you is to make sure you're on the right path. But unfortunately, you have yourself to measure up, and it depends on your life cycle too. All right? So a winning system also knowing that the KLCI market will fare better where they are. So right now you can see this is again of our premium package. You can see the sectors, right? If some of our members would have known, you will have this like healthcare. Healthcare is still doing well up here. You see, healthcare, REITs. So you have REITs and healthcare. Run your profits, okay? And if you don't want to run your profits, do you want to get back in, or maybe you want to get back in on technology, right? Are there some technology coming up? Have some sort of a system. Test it out. Okay. Join a Telegram group. Join our Telegram group. Okay. Right. And we have a lot of courses in our TradeVSA regularly. And the next one we are doing is actually the June 13 and 14, where we focus on stocks, futures, and US market. Maybe some of you may find that this is something where you want to improve yourself. Do take a look at those. Okay. Now, this is something that I have last week. We talked about the sectors. Now, if you didn't attend last week talk, I talked about the search in this sector, right? Online retail, the food delivery, telemedicine. Go back and watch the YouTube that I have last week about the post-MCO thing in there. Then you have lots more information in here because these were the stocks that we talked about. All right. Okay. So finally, my last message, we're almost close to about 1 hour. It's smartrobie. Now, a lot of the information we talk about being aggressive, being moderate, small cap, mid cap. You can get all those from the stock fundamental in here. So these are the insights that you have. Now, if some of you who are first time listening, those of you who type 1 in here, download smartrobie, a free Robie report. Or you can download the apps, okay? The apps that you've seen on Robie sign up. So these are 2 separate information. One is the free report on the left-hand side, and this one is the apps. So once you downloaded the Smart Robie, you were able to see those information we talk about in here. Now, one of the things I also want to share with you, this is one of the stocks. I'm not recommending this, it's just how to look at news. Now, VDAP News Analysis talks about this news that, this came in about today. This was on today's Star, says that you want to grow is IFM. Now, IFM stands for Integrated Facility Management. So people say, oh, wow, this is blah, blah, blah. This is going to be very, very exciting, isn't it? Now they talk about it. But don't forget, if you go in deeper using our news analysis, using the AI technology by Robie, which is under here, news. Okay. On VDAC, no doubt there was a news. Latest news is about 13th of May, which is today. So if Robbie is smart enough to pick up no news, what it simply says, look at that, not so much on 13, but take a look at where it did. November 28, 2019. Now if you go back to this news, read that. This is today, May 13. Okay, but the news Robbie able to pick up, read that back, 838 IFM concessionaire. That was last year November, right? So today's news is a repeat. Correct? Not? It's nothing new. You already know about it, but it makes people very excited, right? What do? They're like people who kind of ask the question, should I buy or not? So technically you'll know that this is actually could be a bait. Smart money using press to lure you in, right? Of course, Robbie also read it as positive sentiment news, very positive. It creates based on the headlines. It is positive news, but we always look at the charts. We always look at the Robbie's trading plan. That's why we have the trading plan here. And let me just draw you this. Okay, the trading plan. And we also have the exit strategy if you already exited. So this is one of the small features that I have. And going back to the post MCO order, I did talk about the sectors that I like: consumer, staple, industrial, utility, technologies. So these are the stocks like Frontcan, why it started to move. All right. So you need to do a bit of work, having a screener, looking at technology stock, those which is stage 1 accumulation, which is just look back to some of my talks. And if you want to know more, find out more about our courses that we do, we'll teach you on this technology stock, how to buy before market breaks out. All right, and this is some of the products that you will get if you join our group, the screeners, industrial. We're getting better. Now, of course, not everything you need to pay lah. We also have free stuff. Subscribe to Robbie free report in here. This is the QR code. You can see this is the latest one we sent out May 13. This was Frontcan. You can see, right, 81% bullish. But even before this thing, market going around 60 or 70%. You can see here, right, the blue zone, the orange zone. Orange zone means bear market, blue zone means red. So all this is totally free. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you read it. All right. And like key assets has gone to ventilation. That's it's time to take profit. Okay, it's not time to buy. Okay. Now, on our Facebook review for Smart Robbie, we did have something good review in here. But we like, for those of you who have used Smart Robbie, and if you find it been very helpful, we appreciate. Thank you very much. We will work harder if you go over and give us a good review, because this is how Facebook does it. If there's no people giving review, it's just gonna disappear. So we wish some of you who can take the time to go up, give us a good ratings and a review. So we'll work harder for you, especially tonight. If you want to pay us, just fill up the feedback on Smart Robbie and be happy, and you'll get a copy of the free Robbie report. All right. Now, also in post MCO, I think many of you realize you've been affected by pay cut, salary cut, right? So what do? Learn to trade. Learn to trade stocks, futures on the short side. Stocks is doing well, go back to stocks. When stock not doing well, you can go back to futures. I think that's one of the benefit, and we can do that, and you're able to earn 6 to 10% daily, right, based on the capital outlay. Okay, so don't forget our free live FB was still ongoing to 31st of May. And right, and our next masterclass course with free re-attendant will be June 13 to 21, where you see a full-fledged of tools, tutorials, follow-ups that we do. Right now we have moved to Zoom teleconferencing right now because people are not that comfortable. So we're going to do our first meeting this Saturday. For those of you who are listening from members in here, please come for our monthly meeting. And for those of you who are listening for the first time, if you do want to attend our Zoom meeting for our members, do let us know at the telephone below there, 010266, and we're happy to give you a free preview of our monthly meeting, so at least you know what you're getting into. All right. And finally, join our TradeVSA Telegram group. It's free, many ideas inside there, and we're able to help you. All right. And subscribe to our thing. So that's all I have for tonight. Tonight was not so much of a stock, because last week we've done a lot of stocks. If you want more stock pick, go over to fb.com/smartrobie. Next week I'll come in, I will talk more in depth about certain companies. I'll take suggestion. Any of you who want me to talk about certain topics, do send it to 01026697. Be happy to take your feedback, because a lot of our talks revolve about what's happening to the market, topics that's interesting, and what can we do in TradeVSA, what Martin can do to help you to make you a better investor, smarter and better investor, knowing the psychology that you can do, whether you are aggressive, moderate, or conservative. So thank you very much tonight. I hope you enjoy this talk as much as I do in here, and I'll see you next Wednesday. All right, so I'll be off on Friday. I was supposed to trade live on Friday, the live Facebook, but I have something on, so I'll see you guys next week. So do let me know how we can help you some more in here, and do follow us, and please give us a good feedback, a rating on our facebook.com/smartrobie. Thank you very much. Good night.